Hey, I'm Dr. Neil Cox from the University of Reading. This is my last talk on the Uncanny. I'm going to do some more talks about something else. Because looking over the talks that I've given already, I'm struck by how much I haven't said and how much I've missed. And all I can say in my defence is that I did say from the top that was probably what's going to happen. The Uncanny is, as Freud discovered in his 1919 essay, The Uncanny, is something that's impossible to fully master. It always gets the better of you. And looking back at the videos, for example, I had a great routine about the blind mice in the second video on the home, and the way their the frames of their glasses, the dark frames of their glasses, are weirdly a repetition of the dark frame of the inner sanctum of the home. And I had a whole thing about the gaze, and I think I'm going to do another lecture on the gaze at a certain point, because that's weird stuff. That's always about a seeing that's not a seeing. I think the thing that I most wished I had emphasised is a strange thing about the Uncanny, that, let's use this formula, that there is no repression without return. By that I mean kind of logically. We know that repression comes first. You don't want to know something. You push it away, you push it into darkness. But it doesn't stay there, and it comes back in a disturbing way. But that's not necessarily the way it goes, because only when something returns are you aware that it's been repressed. That the fact that something has been languishing in darkness only comes to one when it returns to the light. And that means when it comes to the light, as the thing that has been slumbering in the darkness, it comes to the light as something other than it is. It's the difficulty of thinking about repressed things, let alone foreclosed things, that actually an understanding of these things both confirms and alters what they are. One of the things one has to get used to as a critic, and this relates to what I was talking about in the previous video, is that we are not the masters of what we do. In the last video I was talking about, the way that Freud sets himself up as a kind of a scientific master of strange, weird psychology. But actually, as he distances himself from the weird, he actually kind of perpetuates it. And that's really not something that Freud himself experiences alone. Anyone that does the work of criticism will find themselves caught up in weird iterations, find themselves caught in the position that they would analyse at a distance. And I'm just going to leave you with this thought, really. I'm doing it as well. Yeah. Even with these like cursory little videos, I've been doing readings, but I've also been perpetuating loads of problems, and readers from psychoanalytic persuasion, as well as readers from other traditions, might be able to pick out their own understandings of the traps and difficulties that I've been caught up in, even in these very sort of little formulations that I've been offering. One thing that strikes me, for example, is that in the third video I told a story about a woman disappearing. And there was an idea there, I think, I got, that kind of women in that story were caught up with the notion of death. And actually, one of the great critiques of the Uncanny, a critic called Sisu, reads out Freud's problematic investment and disinvestment in women within the stories that he's reading. I'm wondering if I am uncannily perpetuating those kind of difficulties. But there'll be other things too. The uncanny is a reading effect. It's about repetition. And it's about the disarming, sometimes disturbing sense that one has become what one tries to differentiate oneself